And look who has just stopped by. The striker, who is the star, in many ways, of Welcome to Wrexham on FX, because to hell with the guys who own the team, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I can say that, not their employee, who's right here. The great striker of Wrexham AFC, Paul Mullin. Good to see you, Paul. How you doing?
Good to see you, finally, after last year.
We called, we spoke, and now here you are in person. And as I told you in our green room, I'm thrilled to see you in person.
Thanks for having
But the reason why you're still here in Los Angeles, I'm not happy for you on that respect. You have the floor. A lot of folks know why, but you're still here in Los Angeles. Why?
Slightly unfortunate turn of events, I'd say. But we obviously came over on our pre-season tour and visited North Carolina and then headed to LA. And then we moved on to San Diego to play against Manchester United, which was obviously going to be a big occasion. It was a sold-out Snapdragon Arena. And
yes.
10 minutes in, I think it was, unfortunately, I've collided with the goalkeeper and managed to break 4 ribs and puncture my left lung. And sadly, that meant that I couldn't fly home for an extra couple of weeks, or 2 weeks in all. And
yes.
Still here now. Obviously, it's unfortunate, but I think there's a lot worse places you could get injured than California.
That's true. Southern California at that as well. It's not a bad spot. So how are you right now?
Feeling better.
Okay.
The first couple of days were really rough, to be fair. The first 7 days, I'd say, were quite rough and painful. And after that, I stopped taking the pain meds. They were making me feel nauseous of the morning. So I stopped taking them, and I'm feeling a lot better now. Obviously, it's nearly 2 weeks on from the injury, and I feel a lot better at the moment.
So the painkillers, to help you not feel the pain, were making you too nauseous. So the nausea was something that made you feel like I'd rather feel the pain than nauseous. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was exactly that, really. It was
okay.
Obviously, being an athlete in the UK, we get drug tested, so I couldn't take certain meds.
Okay.
So the painkillers wasn't that strong anyway, but
okay,
just taking them on an empty stomach of a morning or whatever would make me feel sick, and I didn't feel like eating, obviously, due to the injury and things. So
okay,
I just thought it'd be best if I left them, and obviously it didn't hurt that much that I had to take them, so I was sort of taking them on a recommendation, and
right.
I just left them in the end, but it's made me feel better, and I'm getting stronger every day, and I feel a lot fitter now than I did a week ago.
And unfortunately, the season started without you, right?
Yeah, the season obviously started. It had been 15, 16 years that they've been out of this division. We managed to achieve the promotion last season, which was phenomenal for us, and I was really looking forward to walking out on that pitch the first game of the season to a big cheer from the fans and a roar and a real excitement, but it wasn't to be. But the lads went out and gave the best shot. I think the American tour of a lot of jet lag and that maybe played a part in us not being quite at it during the first game, but I'm pretty sure going into the next couple of games, it'll be better.
When do you go back, do you think? What's the plan on that?
I fly back tomorrow.
Okay.
So we've got a flight tomorrow evening, which is obviously brilliant after being a bit of time away and away from the family. I'm really looking forward to getting back and seeing my little boy. Okay.
That's how old's your boy?
My little boy is 4. So his name's Albie, and he's autistic, so he doesn't quite understand why his dad hasn't been there for so long, but his mum Molly's done an unbelievable job, and I'm looking forward to getting back and seeing him.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. Is it true, Paul Mullin, you have to tell the truth here on the Rich Eisen Show, is it true that Rob McElhenney invited you to stay with him while you're here in Southern California, and you said no, I do not want to stay?
Absolutely true, yeah. He offered me, obviously, a place to stay in his place with him, and obviously I was unbelievably grateful for that. They were wanting to really look after me and make sure that everything was taken care of. But my 2 friends from Liverpool were here watching me for the tour, and they both decided that they'd like to stay with me just to keep me company and give me some home comfort. So although Rob offered for me to stay in his house, and it was an unbelievable gesture from him, I turned it down just because my 2 friends were here, and I think 3 guests would have been a bit too many for him. I know he's probably got the rooms in the house, but I don't think he'd have liked the Scouse company too much after a couple of days.
Because I was about to say, Welcome to Wrexham is not his first rodeo on FX, I mean, the guy has a very successful show for
just
FX.
A couple.
Yeah, just to say the least. +3? I mean, you +2, I guess. You didn't even ask him?
No, I didn't want to. I don't like putting people in that position. I know he'd offered me to stay there, but I didn't want to put him in the position where he felt like he couldn't say no after offering me it. So
he's ownership.
We decided to stay somewhere else on our own and spend a bit of time together. Obviously, being my friends and being busy at home with work and life in general, you don't get to spend much time with them. So to have this opportunity to spend 2 weeks with my two best friends from high school has been phenomenal.
Okay, so it wasn't like you didn't want to stay with the boss then?
Oh, obviously not. Of course I'd have stayed if I was on my own and I needed care. So I'm pretty sure Rob and Caitlin has done an unbelievable job for that. As we've seen when we were in Vegas, they looked after us with the sun cream every day to make sure we didn't burn. So I'm pretty sure I'd have been in safe hands. But
what? Say that again. What?
When we were in Las Vegas celebrating the promotion at the end of the season, Rob and Caitlin come to spend time with us, and Caitlin was the one walking around making sure that we were putting our suntan on, sun cream on. So
50,
we didn't
like
burn.
50 SPF.
She thought we were taking it as man versus sun, and there was only ever going to be one winner. So she had to look out for us a little bit.
Understood, because you can't be sunburned, and promoted at the same time, I guess. Wrexham AFC striker Paul Mullin here on the Rich Eisen Show. Why did you go to Wrexham? Why?
Initially, it was based around my son. I'd been away from home for a year, and I decided before that year that regardless how it went, that I wanted to go home after it, and I'd done really well. And luckily, it was a summer where it was quite sought after with different clubs and transfers being rumoured, and I didn't know where. I just didn't want to move away from Liverpool ultimately, and that's a 40-minute, 50-minute drive to Wrexham every day. And when they became interested, it was obviously they made me an unbelievable offer to move to the club initially, but the main driving force behind it was to be able to spend the time with my son every single night. And it's something obviously I've not regretted from the moment I signed. The club's only been going one way, and that's up, and it's been the most enjoyable time of my career to date.
So for those who may not know, again, this is all covered immensely well, obviously, in this incredibly popular Welcome to Wrexham series. Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham premieres September 12th at 10 Eastern on FX and streaming the next day on Hulu, which you can check it out right here on Roku. Who was there first, you or Rob and, Ryan?
Rob and Ryan.
They were there first?
Initially signed the club, I think it was in the October before I signed. I signed in the June or July of the next year. So it was the first full season that they were going to have as owners of the club. And I think I was one of the first signings that they made. Obviously, that summer.
Did they sit down with you?
No, I was actually in my mum's back garden when I first got a phone call. It was obviously a number with a code from Beverly Hills in Los Angeles, and there was me sat in Liverpool looking at my phone thinking, who's this calling?
Right.
But when I answered, it was Rob. Rob gave me a call and really wanted to sell the club to me and the dream and the vision that they had for it going forward. And to be honest, he didn't tell one lie on that phone call. Everything they've said is
what did he say to you? What did he say to you?
He just told me that the ultimate aim was to get out to the division, that they see the club progressing so far. Obviously, from a commercial point of view, with the documentary, that was something I didn't know about the club. And he explained how they were going to try and grow the whole club and the community, and really put time and effort into the people of the place, not just into the football club. And that's been fulfilled at the moment, and we want to keep building on the pitch. Obviously, we've had success last season, and this year we're aiming to do it again.
Now, obviously, you had just told us here about the personal reasons as to why you wanted to sign and how the benefits, I guess, for your personal life, geographic soundness of Wrexham. But was there a part of you that's like, these actors want to buy this club from America here in this part of the world, and I need to check on this a little bit? Was there any part of that for you, Paul?
Not really. Once I spoke to Rob, I think initially my thought was, how much will he really know about, obviously, the UK game and that league in general? It wasn't a league that was ever out there. It wasn't a league that was ever really put
specific
into the public spotlight. And I think that the two owners made that happen. And now there's probably a lot of people in the world who know what the National League is. But even being from the UK, it wasn't a league that was talked about ever so much. And they've really done that.
Yeah. And they've done what they said they would do.
Yeah, from the moment I got there, they obviously outlined the plans for the club, and it took probably 1 year longer than we expected to get promoted. But I think that just added to the drama and probably helped the documentary just that little bit more.
Well, they do have the sense of drama.
The Hollywood ending,
there's no question about it. But that's where you're. So where can Wrexham go from here, do you think?
The sky's the limit. Obviously, there's been people laughing at Rob and Ryan doing interviews saying that they want the ultimate aim is to play in the Premier League, but when they've had dreams as kids and gone and achieved them in the personal lives and in the jobs, why couldn't they do it in a business aspect? It's football's a game where anything can happen, and this season there'll be a team in the Premier League called Luton, who not so long ago were playing in the same division we was last year, and they've achieved so many promotions now that they've arrived in the Premier League. And with Rob and Ryan's back, and obviously and the whole support that we've got from not just in Wrexham now, from all around the world, it's only going to push the club on and give them other outlets of income and things like that, which need to come down the line the higher up you go through the divisions. And the sky really is the limit. They can achieve the Premier League, but who knows how long it could take. It could take 5, 10, 20 years, or it could take 4. You just never know in this game.
But obviously you would have a large role in that, correct? Your own personal
hopefully,
success.
As I say, you never know in time how long it will take them to get there, and obviously I'd love to achieve that. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, because it's, I'm not a fortune teller, so I can't see that, but obviously this season especially, we're going to work as hard as we can, me included in that, to try and replicate last season and to just continue doing as well as I can. And this time next year we could be in the next division up, and then you're only a couple of steps away from the Premier League, so you never know.
Right. So how do you like having the cameras on you?
It's something I've sort of gotten used to. It's not something that bothers me, but equally it's not something that I sought after. I don't change when I'm in front of cameras. I am what you see, what you get. It's something that doesn't faze me. I sort of be myself, and I think if you always be yourself, then you can never have any regrets, or you'll never say something that you regret saying, because you're just speaking your mind. Yeah,
sure. But I mean, are any of your teammates a little bit leery of it or concerned about it?
I think some are a little bit more happy to see the cameras than others. Yeah, I think some of them like being in the spotlight a little bit more, but some obviously don't. That's personalities change, and for me, last season, obviously scoring a lot of goals, and obviously from when the documentaries come out, I was one of the main talking points and things. You sort of get a bit more of a spotlight and things, and it was something I just had to accept and roll with. And now it's something that's become a little bit more regular and something that you just get on with.
Did you know who these guys were when they called you and hired you or wanted you to come aboard?
Initially, when I heard about Wrexham, I didn't fully know who Rob and Ryan was. You have to Google him? I'd watched Always Sunny.
Okay.
I didn't recognise Rob McElhenney as being in it. I just knew it as Mac.
Okay.
Which was quite refreshing when I did realise, because I'd watched a couple of the seasons of it. And then with Ryan, I knew the name. I knew it was a popular actor, but I just hadn't watched many of his movies. I'm still not a movie person, particularly. Obviously now I've caught up on a couple of them, and sort of got to know him better through his Deadpool character. But,
so Deadpool is your entry into Ryan Reynolds, and your entry into Rob McElhenney.
I first watched Red Notice. Was my first movie of Ryan's that I can watch. That I remember watching purposely because he was in it. But obviously with Rob, it was Always Sunny. I'd watched a couple of seasons.
But you didn't recognise him. Did you then?
I didn't recognise the name. It was just as Mac. Obviously in Always Sunny, he's known as Mac. So
when you're sitting in your mother's backyard, as you said.
Yeah, our house was getting renovated. So we was staying in my mum's for a couple of weeks.
So you're staying with your mom, and you look down at your phone, and I assume 310 area code or whatever, that's the area code here in Los Angeles, pops on your phone, and you're talking to Rob. Did he say, I'm an actor from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Or did you have to, once you hung up, go, oh my God, that's the guy from the show?
No, when I answered, he said, I'm the big shot from LA. No, just kidding. Which he is, but he didn't say that. No, he's a really down-to-earth person, and obviously his personal life or his jobs and achievements didn't really come into conversation. He just wanted to sell Wrexham as the football club to me, to get me to sign, which is what he done. He sold it as best he could. I think if he wasn't in the jobs he's in, I think he'd get a good job as a salesperson, because his pitch was phenomenal.
Because I'm just saying again that you just say hang up the phone, and then you realized eventually, it dawned on you that one of the actors from a show that you're watching was the guy who just called to pitch you on going to Wrexham.
Yeah, it was quite cool, to be fair. It was.
It is.
Afterwards, when obviously I realised who they went. Well, to be honest, before the phone call, I'd researched who he was. I was like, oh yeah, that's from Always Sunny. But initially, when I first heard of the Wrexham interest, I hadn't. But they're just good people, and as I say, I'm not one of those people who gets overawed or like thinks any different of anybody, from the homeless person on the street to the A-list celebrities who now I talk to. Everybody is the same in life, and both owners are exactly the same as me in that aspect. They treat everybody the same, and that was what was most pleasing for me, is speaking to the people. They did have no ego. It was literally they were there to do the best for Wrexham and the community, and for me, that's my job now, is to do the best for Wrexham and the community also.
Now, you always hear, certainly here in the States, and I'm sure it applies around the world in the world of athletics, Paul Mullin, the Wrexham AFC striker. Again, FX's Welcome to Wrexham Season 2 is premiering in September on the 12th at 10 Eastern Time. The phrase you hear from athletes all the time is, no one believes in us. And they use that as a rallying cry within the locker room or wherever they're on. And I'm just wondering if the fact that Ryan and Rob bought this team, everybody thought, you're just a lark. You know, you're just it's a lark by them. They're not really serious about it. And your squad is not to be taken seriously. And look what you've done so far. Is that appropriate? Do you use this maybe as a rallying cry for yourself, Paul?
I think when they'd signed the players that we've signed, the really good players from higher divisions, I think from the public's point of view, the team was expected to do well, which created more pressure on us. And obviously the documentary and the owners being who they are, creates more eyes and more spotlights, and it was up to us to deliver. But the whole underdog story is about the community as a whole. It's a town that hasn't ever been given the support it needs to progress and to become a better, more influential town in the north of Wales. It's a massive area, and it sort of got left by the government, and that the town as a whole and the people of the town really rallied together. And I think as footballers and a group of players, we had to rally around ourselves and forget about all the attention we're getting and all the plaudits when we're doing well, and realise that we've got to represent the people who support us and represent the community as best we can and give absolutely all in every single game. And we've done that last season, and obviously we'll continue to give absolutely everything, because the people of the town never gave up. As it's said in the documentary, they put the houses together, their own mortgages, to keep their football club afloat. And now they were lucky enough to have two really famous, really rich, really successful people take over the club who really do mean well. And there was people out there saying they're going to be gone soon, there'll be only a flash in the pan type thing, it won't last too long. But they're really two serious guys who want to progress the club as good as they can and as far as they can. And I think them saying that they still want to be in 10 years, that was one thing when I spoke to Rob. He said the two of them want to be remembered in 100 years for doing something unbelievable for a community, and I think they've picked a good community to do that in. And hopefully in 100 years time, we've already wrote a little piece of history with us included in it, but hopefully in 100 years time we'll all be remembered like that.
So I think that's obviously part of the success of this show here in the US, watching this unfold in Wrexham. Is not just obviously the celebrity element to it, but a metaphor for the town. The team is the club is a metaphor for the town. Exactly what you just said.
Yeah, we represent them people. We work as hard as we can, but I think in the documentary you get to see us as people, not as the athletes. Like in the UK, athletes get seen as different in life. They shouldn't experience the same things that normal people working normal jobs do just because they're athletes. But for us, I think it's reflected really well in the documentary how we're all just normal people. We all have our own problems, and we all have to work really hard to get even where we've got to now. And that's exactly like the people of Wrexham. They have to work really hard to afford to come to watch us every single week. And luckily enough, we managed to sell out the stadium. And that support doesn't go unnoticed, because in hard times, they're the ones who pull us through, as well as when they're suffering hard times and they come to watch on a weekend, we can give them a bit of joy also to take home with them.
Okay. So what did you do while you were out here before I let you go? I mean, anything that I need to know that you
No, to be fair, the first couple of days after the injury was very much rest and recover, and spend a bit of time on the local beaches, and probably try different beaches out. I headed down to Santa Monica Pier, because I'd seen it pretty much on a lot of films and on GTA also, which is something I had to check out. But we spent a lot of time relaxing, and then the weekend just gone, we managed to go for some dinner in LA and in Beverly Hills, which was also quite strange. I managed to...
Why was it strange?
Well, I walk into a bar and there's paparazzi taking photos of me. That was something I never thought was ever going to happen in life, but it's something that I sort of have to get used to, I suppose, when we're in LA. I guess
that's a new documentary, Welcome to Beverly Hills, Paul. That's next up for you.
But I might try that one.
So there's no paparazzi in Wrexham, is what you're saying?
Not real paparazzi, no.
It's one person with a camera?
It's more the documentary crew, but obviously a lot of the fans who come and watch are always asking for photos. But when I'm in Wrexham clothes, I come to expect it. It's a lot more recognisable. I didn't think my face would be that recognisable. I'd walk into a place in LA and the camera guys outside, they'd be shooting shots of me. It was sort of a shock at first. And I think the first photo they got up there probably be a bit of a picture because I wasn't expecting it at all. But it was quite funny. My two friends were there who were laughing. You know, we're all normal people, average people from Liverpool who probably found the funny side of it.
That's what high schoolers will do. High school friends will do that. And then your book is coming out, My Wrexham Story, available now when you pre-order, and then available wherever you get your books, November 23rd of this year. What's the purpose of the memoir? Just to talk about everything that you just talked about here?
No, it was something that I was really interested in doing, is writing a story. And first off, I was going to write it purely just on the successful season we just had. And last summer, my whole plan was to hopefully have a successful season and then write about it. But I was approached by the publishing company to do the book, which was already in my thoughts. So it was something I jumped at and something I've really enjoyed doing. It's basically talking about my whole life from the start and how basically somebody who's still leads a normal life but came from a normal background with a loving family, went through quite a few rough times within sport, obviously not in the terms of life, but within sport and within football. More importantly, I found it tough at times, and sometimes in life you've got to dig in, and then you get to a point where I signed for Wrexham and everything's going swimmingly, and all the stories beforehand where I was at Cambridge and do well from a moment before at Tranmere where it was really tough, and then I found myself at Wrexham, as I say, and it's gone from strength to strength from there. And then my little boy, and talking about his autism and trying to help parents with that, because it's not easy, it's really tough. And if I could just help one person, even just in that segment of the book, it's something I'd be really proud about.
Well, good luck on the book. Congratulations in advance on that and all your success. And again, I'm sorry you're able to appear here because you got hurt, but now you're well. Go home and hang out with
every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose.
I guess so. Yeah, and hang out with your club and obviously your family. Paul, I really appreciate you coming here, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Absolutely. Right back at you at Paul Mullin 12 on Instagram. Everyone check out again his new book coming out. Pre-order it right now. My Wrexham Story, available for pre-ordering. It's going to be coming out around Thanksgiving time here in the States. And then season 2 of FX's Welcome to Wrexham premieres September 12th at 10 Eastern on FX. Streams the next day on Hulu, which is where you can catch it on Roku. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.